So we were talking about international actors, and Rwanda is often praised internationally for development and stability. But there's a clear gap between that international narrative and the lived reality of the repression in Rwanda. So one can ask, the question we should ask ourselves is, what responsibility do Western governments and institutions bear in sustaining authoritarian regimes, such as those of Yoweri Museveni and Paul Kagame? Because clearly there is a responsibility that we can talk about.
I think you always have to ask development and stability for whom, and I think that's a way to recenter the conversation. And I think you've really put your hands on one of the most persistent and damaging contradictions in Africa policy today, and that is the willingness to celebrate or to laud Rwanda's economic metrics and stability while largely ignoring the systematic repression that keeps the same man in power for decades. It's unfortunately not isolated incidents. And as someone who has spent years working with pro-democracy leaders across the globe, I can tell you that this gap that you speak of is not accidental, it's purposeful. Western governments and institutions, in my opinion, bear real ongoing responsibility for sustaining these authoritarian regimes. And how do they do this? They do so through foreign aid and military assistance, through security cooperation, and really diplomatic cover and silence, right? Silence over these ongoing abuses, as well as a stubborn refusal to update these outdated, really, in my opinion, paternalistic narratives. So you overlook the conflation of the RPF, the ruling party, with the state, the criminalization of dissent, the surveillance apparatus, the transnational repression, the export of instability to neighbors in Congo and elsewhere. It's a regime emboldened enough to detain peaceful opposition leaders indefinitely, disappear and murder critics with impunity, and yet somehow still host global summits and sports events as soft power cover.